the last thing I wanted to talk about mostly was Nick Fuentes' take on the Israel conspiracy theory behind Kirk's assassination. So, he's pretty famously been saying now that he thinks people who believe that Israel is behind Charlie Kirk's death are stupid for the most part. So let's listen to what he says here, and then we'll kind of comment on it.
I love that. Well, I love the theory that he got shot with the palm pistol from the side, or that there was a guy giving hand signals to kill Kirk in front of the live stream.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw people making comments about the guys doing the hand signals and like grabbing their hat or whatever. I don't believe that at all. I don't think that was the case. I also saw somebody saying that they were actually shot, that he was shot from the back. I think actually, Owen Schroeder was kind of talking about this theory, or at least reposting stuff about it, which I think I have the clip here. But they were looking at it and they say, oh, he was shot from the back, and it's like, if you were shot from the back, you would see a bullet hole in the plastic behind him. And there was nothing behind him. It was a huge wall. So I don't really believe that, but
it's a live streamed event. So you're telling me their master plan in front of an audience of thousands that are all filming it in front of a live stream was to have the shot caller next to him. Kill him now. Take the shot now. I hope the thousands of people in attendance aren't I hope no one notices this.
Yeah, why would they even need hand signals? Yeah, exactly. Some retweets detailing the whole Messiah connection, yeah. So my kind of theory behind the Messiah connection is, and I haven't really looked into it that much, but I just believe that the killer didn't act alone. I think he was part of some groups that, you know, encouraged that to happen. And I think those groups are associated with Israel and like George Soros, who's a Jew. You know, that's kind of how I view the Israel connection. I don't believe that like the kid was a Mossad agent and sent there to shoot him. Yeah, Antifa, like I believe Israel is funding a lot of those Antifa organizations that had connections to the shooter. That's kind of how I believe the Jewish thing goes along, but a lot of people are making it sound like the shooter was a literal Mossad agent, or I saw a post saying that there were like 12 Israeli phones that were around Kirk, which, again, that hasn't been totally verified, so I don't know about that, but I do kind of believe that when people say things are Jewish conspiracies when they're not, it's kind of like similar to how the left calls us all Nazis, when some of us aren't. You know, it kind of waters down the term and like waters down the point of calling things Jewish. Like, we want to call things Jewish conspiracies that are actually Jewish conspiracies. Like, otherwise we look like morons. And that was something with me and my doxes, you know, they all went crazy about me being Jewish, and that's not fucking true. So they kind of just look like idiots, and it waters down the point of calling people Jews. It makes a group a joke, yeah. Truth matters, yeah, agree. They really thought the shooter was right-wing, yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm against, they tried to label it right-wing when there's so many connections to the left. We know he was in some kind of Discord group with some of the Antifa groups, so, you know, there needs to be more that comes out about that, but, you know, they're being funded from somewhere, and if you just follow the money, more often than not, at least Israel. So I'm not for sure saying, like, yeah, the Jews were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm mostly just saying it's an interesting theory to at least consider and maybe do more research into, rather than just say, oh yeah, it's the Jews, definitely. You know, I think it's worth investigating more about it, but I'm not one of those people that say, yeah, it's for sure the Jews, totally. You know, we gotta We gotta call out things that are Jewish that are actually Jewish. I agree with Nick, it makes us look bad as anti-Semites. Candace Owens is a great example, yeah. Yeah, the whole Candace Owens thing, I mean, she said a lot of stuff that I think we need more information about, like, you know, that Israel is offering him like $150 million and he declined it. So I think we need some more receipts on that type of stuff. But that in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean they killed Charlie Kirk. You know, so I don't know. But I agree with what Nick's saying for the most part is that, you know, I don't quite believe this stuff totally. I think it's interesting to research and look into more. I definitely think people should be doing that. But yeah, to just like blindly follow, yeah, it's Jewish, no, everything's Jewish, when it's might not be, it kind of just makes us look really bad. These tranny clusters, Soros, have been hiring them for years, but they are often socialist, SLP, Maoists. Yeah, I agree. Always a patsy, like with JFK. Yep, that is true. That is true. My net socialist circle and I believe that Charlie was genuinely naive to grasping that he could never in any way criticize Jews or Israel. Yeah, that is true. I would agree with that, yeah. It's all a point except that when you suspect Yids, you rarely end up being wrong. Yeah, no, I agree with that. More often than not, it does end up being Israel behind it. But I think we need more evidence to say for sure. But I think it's worth investigating. I kind of sort of don't believe with just like saying everyone's stupid, but some of the people that they're saying, like some of the theories they're trying to prove, are very stupid in my opinion. From what I saw, he was shot from the side by a small caliber nut, a 30-06. That's what I heard people talking about, she was shot from the side. I don't think I believe that, and I'll actually show you the video on why. Yeah, part of some socialist groups don't know about Israel being included, yeah. Yeah, that's the gap in the logic is we don't know for sure that the socialist groups were funded by Israel, but they often are. The rifle was his grandfather's? Oh, I didn't know that. I had to censor my message by saying Brazil. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, he was a Redditor and got his rifle from his grandfather, yeah. Yeah, and I do think, you know, there are cases where shit just happens, you know? People do go crazy and do things, you know? Not everything is a conspiracy. But yeah, I can't do what Charlie did in those universities, yeah. Yeah, I think Destiny's trying to do stuff and he's getting heckled, which is funny. Spreading that theory could be done by the left in order to make the right look like schizos. That is a fair point too. That very well could be the case. Being a smartass, of course, we look like loons to the clueless normies when we can't deliver receipts. Heck, even when we can, yeah, that is true. That's true, even when you have receipts, they don't really care. Reddit is probably the strongest Israel connection? Probably.
Like, that was their plan? Like, you're in front of thousands of people recording it with their phone, in front of giant cameras recording it, and their plan was kill him.
Yeah.
The other guy had a palm pistol like this.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
So the plan was in front of all the cameras to be like... and hope no one saw? Choreograph it so... It's like, that's the level of retardation. But no one wants to say it because they're afraid of the schizos.
Yeah, the trajectory of the bullet does not look like it came from the side. I definitely believe the trajectory of the bullet shows that it came from the front. I don't really want to, like, look at this clip too much, but this is what they're talking about.
A blur. So I want you to pay attention, obviously, right here on Charlie's neck. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about here, but here in a few seconds, you'll see and indention made on the back of his neck, along with a blur. It's a blur, something moving very fast, a very fast moving object would cause this, right? I mean, we're just using common sense at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. Okay, so here in a minute, you're gonna focus on this area right here in this vicinity, okay? You're gonna see a pop, like...
You can see the shockwave on his shirt from the sonic boom. You don't see that from an exit wound? Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hasabara agents spread that nonsense out of hand signals, palm pistols, etc. to make anyone question it look stupid. It's literally their job. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would not be surprised if that's the case. I do pretty much believe the official story is that he was on the rooftop, he had a sniper and shot him in the neck. Yeah, I don't believe the palm pistol stuff. But yeah, we'll look at the sonic boom
down
here.
On Charlie's neck, and then immediate blur. Almost simultaneously, but just pay attention. I'll play it back a few times, and then I'm gonna play it through, and I'm gonna show you a clear and concise exit wound. Okay? So here we go. All right, pay attention. Moment of impact. You see
Okay,
that?
dude,
You see it bump up?
that's retarded.
Impact.
That's literally just motion blur from the shitty quality of the camera. Like, that's not an impact wound. It's going the opposite direction if it was.
Moment of impact. You see that? You see it bump up?
This is just retarded.
Impact. Shirt jumps up a little bit.
Yeah, that's
You just mean to tell me
motion blur from his shirt, from the shockwave of his shirt getting pulled up in the air.
he's flinching his neck like that? No fucking way, dude. That's an impact of it. You know what? All right?
Nah, this guy's stupid.
Stop it there. We can see it. All right? Boom. Boom. What is that, people?
So he's making
What?
it sound like it came from the left side of his neck and exited the right side. No way. No way. This guy's off his rocker.
Is that? That's not an entry wound.
That is an entry wound.
Come on, guys. We're being lied to. 2 equals 4. Neck and out through his front.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. People say anything for clicks, yeah. Somebody had this comparison video down here. And yeah, it's crazy to me that Owen Short was the one who posted this. Like he said, it still appears first movement is in the back of the neck. Brother, that was a terrible video. And yeah, here is if you look at the shockwave, again, I don't really want to watch this, but people are saying this, so we have to, but you can see the, like Father Joe said, you can see the ripple effect on his shirt. So it flows like a wave pattern. So, you know, the air is pushing the shirt up, and it goes from right to left. So you can clearly see that, you know, the shockwave of the effect has a bullet traveling in this direction. It's not coming from down this way, from the side of his neck and going out. It's going in and back. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's not from the back, and I honestly can't believe that Owen Schroyer's kind of even giving this the time of day, because this is just terrible. I mean, you can clearly see the bullet came from the front. And actually, Alex Jones called him out on this, which was surprising. I mean, he left it. The InfoWars in kind of, you know, they didn't have good terms. Owen said, yes, I am no expert. These conclusions are based off other real experts in ballistics, shootings, weapons, etc. I will be interviewing multiple experts today and later this week. Aksha said, no, you're not. You're an expert in smoking weed. You know, I like Owen, but this is a bad take. This is a very bad take. Sick burn, yeah, exactly. That's right, the waves around the bullet, air pressure, yeah. Yeah, you can see it goes in and then it reflects back out in a wave pattern. So it definitely came from the front. But wouldn't he have been bleeding from the other side too? No. Because when he was hitting the neck, right in the front, he's hitting the arterial vein of his neck. You have two on each side. So there probably was no blood coming out from the back of the neck because you really don't have any veins going up back there. It's all right in the front, right around your vocal cords, is where all the blood goes to your brain. So I don't think it would come out the back. And it definitely came out of the front because that was the path of least resistance. So, all of it just came right out the front. And people who were in the car, there was one guy who, talked about it. Forget his name, but I think he was the guy in the white hat there, actually. But he hopped in the back of the car with Charlie, and, they saw it clear as day that it was all from the front to the back of the neck. Bullet can be hot, can cauterize. Yeah, that is true as well. Look at the guy's hand below the tent. There's recoil. Yeah, I've heard about that. I think that's probably just a reaction from the sound. Everyone kind of flinched at that moment. You hear the sound, you panic, you look left, you look right, you kind of flinch. I think that's probably more than likely what happened. I did not see a gun, like a gun shape, and even if you did try to get close to it, the video that is there, you're talking about this white guy right up here. Supposedly this right here is holding a gun. And then flinch right there, but he pulls his hands up after the bullet hits him right there. So yeah, I don't believe that guy is holding a gun. I do not believe that theory. Yeah, I just think for Owen to talk about this theory, you need something other than this terrible footage of a motion blur on a terrible camera. It's just not enough for me to say, yeah, this totally rejects the official narrative. The sound arise after the bullet too, you have to factor in the delay. Yeah, and that's when he flinches, right? You're correct. You see Charlie get hit, you see the waves of a sonic boom hit his shirt, and then you hear the sound, and then that's when that guy pulls his arm up. Yeah. I believe that. I think it was a reaction to the sound. So, I agree with what Nick's saying is yeah, a lot of the Jewish conspiracy stuff that people are talking about is kind of cringe. There needs to be more evidence before we can go down that route saying it for sure. I think this was another interesting clip of Nick just saying people are saying he got the call from Mossad because he's not saying it's Jewish conspiracy theory, but he's been talking about it for 10 years.
People say, okay, this was some nut job. At what point is that a sufficient explanation? And the only reason I say that is look, that is also a problem. People say, and I've seen this on Twitter from people that I will never talk to again. I saw this from the Health Ranger. I saw it from Ryan Mata. I saw it from other grifters on Twitter. They said, Nick Fuentes is forced to say it's not the Jews. Blackmail.
Yeah, that's just retarded.
He's afraid. First of all, I've been talking about Israel and the Jews for 10 years.
True.
And by the way, I'm the only one that has been consistently doing that for 10 years. Where was Ryan Mata and Health Ranger, all these other people, when it was unpopular, when you were getting banned for saying it? Debanked, censored. Second of all, I'll be saying it tomorrow and next week too. We'll be talking about it tonight. And by that, I mean Jewish power in Israel. I'm the first one to say Mossad kills people.
Yeah.
The first one to say Israel's behind many of the conspiracies.
So yeah, I agree with what Nick's saying. We have no, for sure proof that Israel was involved, but yeah, again, I think it's worth exploring, but we need more information before we just outright say, hey, this is a Jewish conspiracy. Oh, thank you so much, Father Joe, for gifting Lord Rexworth a sub on Kick. Thank you. Oh, slashes. Thank you so much for that. The only other Jewish, connection I can see here is this guy. This George Zinn guy. He was proven to be a Jew, but he's the guy who falsely told the police that he was the one who did it. And then he was later arrested and facing charges for possessing child porn on his phone. This guy, there's more going on with this guy that we know. This was also reported today, which is this George Zinn guy. George Zinn just happened to be in a documentary about 9/11. In 2013, he was charged with bomb threats at a marathon in the aftermath of the Boston bombing. He claims to have run interference for Charlie Kirk's murder. This week he's been brought up on child porn charges. If we're gonna look into the Israel connection, it might be this guy. This George Zinn guy. He's Jewish, but elderly rabble-rouser who allegedly hindered Utah authorities' response after Charlie Kirk was shot is accused of keeping graphic sexual photos of children on his phone, according to law enforcement. I don't know what this is.
It was an interesting time when I went to, I was in Denver just on September 10th, 2001, and I'm a huge Broncos fan, so I was good. It was the opening.
Zinn was at the 9/11 and Boston bombing. Look it up, it's crazy. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is that he's somehow connected to a lot of stuff here. What the hell was he doing at Charlie Kirk's rally? So there's more going on with this guy, I think. So this might be the kind of connection to possibly some kind of Jewish interference. Utah man charged with making a bomb threat at a marathon. Yeah. What are the chances that this guy was there and then was there at this particular rally where he gets shot at? That's not a coincidence. This guy, I think, had some kind of former knowledge of something going down. Unless this guy is just everywhere all the time and we haven't seen him. What are the chances that this guy who makes bomb threats at the Boston bombing marathon and 9/11 was fucking there on the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated? This guy is extremely sus to me. I mean, I have no proof that he has any connection to Israel other than he himself is Jewish, but it's very strange. This guy, very strange to me. Check your closet right now. Oh my god. There's a fucking Jew in my closet. No. But, yeah, this is what we need to find out more about who's funding these Antifa people that Tyler Robinson was allegedly involved with. That's probably where you'll find the money comes from a lot of Jewish organizations. But, again, that's allegations, we don't know that for sure. But yeah. So, that's kind of my take on that stuff.